just have such bright hope for it because, one, I see the people who are working here are outstanding thinkers, people and our elected officials with like super positive, super progressive approach to the challenges that we were just talking about. I think it's absolutely within our grasp to have safe, clean water, for instance, for everyone, reliable water for everyone, and to have zero reliance on imported water other than emergency, other than in those really dramatic times or periods where we aren't having local rainfall and or enough, say, recycled water to bring about total lack of reliance on imported. So I do see LA County's water resiliency is headed in the right direction. We are going to have safe, clean water and reliable water for everyone, as I said, with equity. It's a big challenge, but it's one that I see is in our grasp, and it's within our grasp within those whatever dates as mayor or other else has said. I think we said like a 2035 date, and I think our board has had just as much ambition on that front. When it comes to transportation, this is the big exciting thing. The only thing I worry about transportation is that we don't make the same mistakes we made in the past with respect to one or another form of transportation dominating our way we move.
Right.
So we're a multimodal entity. We want to see people move in ways we don't even imagine right now. And I think that's going to happen, again, with the policymakers that are in place, with their drive to push all electric, and also to invest in all forms of mobility. I see LA being not like number one on the traffic issue anymore, but actually being able to move the people who are operating here and coming here in a way that's much more efficient. And we're making big investments in first and last mile connections, and really educating people about what it is, what that asset that they have, which is the street, which many people are like, that's not my domain. I can't operate within the street. And we're finding out there's been multiple uses of the street right away, including the primary one it was designed for, which is moving cars, but moving people via pedestrian or bicycle, having the walkways put in a way that healthy design being put into our transportation system thinking, and again, having an integrated approach in transportation where multi-sectors are served by the transportation system. So water being served, for instance, by the transportation system. In the solid waste arena, what I envision is that we're going to have a community, and I was already on the way to this, a community that's highly aware of their solid waste. We're going to it's either through shame or whatever, that people are going to know where their waste is going.
Right.
And they're going to demand that we cut down on the throwaway society has got to be changed. And we are going to have 21st century infrastructure serving the solid waste arena. And that means we're going to walk away from our landfills most likely. I see zero solid waste going to landfills. I see a massive investment in conversion technology, cutting down again, reducing the amount of waste we produce as individuals. This 4 pounds per day per person has just got to change. Being more efficient with our food waste so that people are served. It's just a shame that there are still people who are struggling with hunger in a place like this. It's crazy. A lot of people don't know that. We're like number 7 in the country, in the world, on food poverty when it comes to food. And that has got to change, and the waste system can actually contribute to that issue. So again, we're going to reduce our impact as well in the greenhouse gas emissions by reducing that landfill waste and capturing the methane gas and putting it to use for us, whether it's an electric system or otherwise. So that's that. It's those 3 sectors are probably the big sectors that I'm hyper focused on, wastewater and transportation. We also see an area of self-resiliency, and that is in the emergency management crisis. Because as this weather situation gets more and more intense, we're finding that people forgot how to make fires, don't know where their water comes from, doesn't understand where the sewage goes. And you put them in a situation where all of our utilities have taken away, a big windstorm or something, and you can have a major problem, a major crisis on your hands just from people not being self-reliant enough or being aware. So emergency management is going to involve teaching people, becoming more self-reliant, decentralized system, and then hardening the system so it can be the system of support for people and infrastructure so that it can bounce back more readily. And we're getting a great challenge, and it's been a terrible pleasure to be involved with the Woolsey fire because it's an awful thing that happened, but we're also seeing what the future looks like in terms of LA County's readiness. Where it's an interesting culture there in the Santa Monica Mountains. There's a lot of very resilient people who live off the grid, and there's also a huge amount of people who move there because it's beautiful, but really have never lived like out in a rural area. And so we're investing up there as a model in response and warning systems, and as well as hugely as in terms of recovery. So what we build back, we want to do better in terms of its ability to survive such events. And that is not only the people's homes, but actually the environment there. The unbelievable loss of natural resources that occurred it's disheartening. And animal life as well as habitat. So, and you look what's happening in Australia, it's a foreshadowing of what could happen here. And so resiliency, community resiliency through our emergency management arena, but also just overall infrastructure approach has to include resiliency these days because of the condition we're in.